So this week what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about lettering, which is something I get asked quite frequently now if I enjoy doing it or not, or actually what my thoughts are. And for the most part, I hate doing lettering, but sometimes it's necessary to do in a painting, so I'll do it. I do a lot of cocktail labels, so I'll show you in just a bit some of the details here of what's going on, but I'm going to finish up. I'm pretty much done the painting, and the last part of the detailing here is to just do this last little spot right here on the Blue Label bottle. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Let me just take this little piece off here. There we go. So first thing what I want to do is usually what I'll do is I'll take a picture and I will blow it up, and then I'll print it out and get ready to put it right up next to it. So I can kind of go back and forth to make it a little bit easier, because lettering from life is extremely difficult, just as lettering even from a printout is going to be extremely difficult. So what I'll do is I'll usually break open a new brush. I'll get two different sizes here so that I can get in and get all this kind of detailing that we see here on the printout. So what I'm going to do is just grab my color that I'm going for here, which is raw sienna. So it's got like a gold look to the label. So I'm just going to find out pretty much like where it's going to line up, and then just go for it from there. So the labeling is going to start about right there. What I'll usually do at this point is just freestyle. So I will make sure I have enough pigment on my brush. I oiled out just before, so I used a little bit of a fatter oil. So I used Stand Oil to just get a little bit more oil down on the canvas, because the pigment appeared like it was sinking in. So normally, what I'm trying to think about here too is just almost making the exact letter forms that I see in front of me, but I don't want to get too fussy here. So what I want to do is start from the inside and then work out, because this is kind of like the anchor that I can do each letter form off of. So if it does get a little bit strange or wonky, I can build out from here this way, because if I went this way and I didn't, if I didn't leave enough space, I may lose a letter form or two, which has just happened too many times. So what I'm going to do is just kind of follow this up. Know that this letter form comes down about here and in, and then come down. And then up. So just taking my time here to make sure that the letter forms are looking good. For the most part, I'm going to show a close-up in just a little bit, but these are not exactly perfect writing, and this down here is just, it's not even lettering. You can't even see what it is. So really what I'm trying to do is, I know where, for the most part, our cone of vision is 55 to 60 degrees, so we're going to be standing back to observe the whole painting, probably a couple feet from this, because this is 12 inches high. They will be back, the audience will be back about 3 feet. That's to get no distortion when you're looking at an image. So I know I have that in mind. So really, when I think of kind of these letter forms down here, I know that they don't have to be perfect. That these aren't going to be legible almost no matter how. If you're a foot away, I don't even know if you'd be able to read it. So I know that from 3 feet back, it doesn't matter. It's more of like kind of the essence or the spirit of what it is that you're painting. So I'll then go to the next one. I'm going to show you kind of how I do that too. Up, over, Now I've done way too many of these too, and this is just the way that I like to do it, even though I would take the like out of there because I'm not a fan of doing this, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make the right picture. So I also worked as an illustrator making signs when I was in high school, so it helps to have a little bit of lettering under my belt. But I also worked as a graphic designer for years, so I think a lot of that all helps to have studied labels and know what letter forms kind of do. But there are definitely people that do this way better than I do. These are just the way that I kind of go at it. Like I said, there are artists I know that could probably nail this and get it exactly perfect. But I'm really looking for just the essence of the painting. I've tried to get letter forms perfect. The amount of time is just never worth, it's just not worth the payoff. So what I like to do is just focus on a few elements to get the essence. B. We go. And so one way to think about this too is that you do have an eraser if you need it. So plenty of times I've dipped into my turpentine if I feel like I've kind of not got the right letter form exactly the way that I want, and then I can kind of wipe it and then start back over. So sometimes also what I'll do is I'll clean up some edges if I feel like I didn't quite nail it. So there's kind of like, I think, pretty sure it's a Gothic font. And what I want to do is just get a little bit of highs and lows, because one thing about Johnnie Walker is that there's a beautiful shine happening on their letter forms because it's a gold foil. So there's light just really kind of dancing on there. So just a little bit of highs and lows. I usually always paint from life to at least observe it while I'm doing this too, but for filming it, I had to shut the lights off. So I'm taking a look here to see that there's highs and lows and assuming that it's going to be lighter yellow. So that's kind of, pretty much what the audience is going to see from far away and be able to read. But you can see that when it comes to just letter forms like this, I will just suggest, and then we come down here, and now I'm just, following kind of what I had before, making it look like, so let's do this, and I can show you how to fix some form too. And then just, you can see that it's, hopefully I can zoom in on the recording here and show you just how illegible that is. So just a touch of chirps, and then what I'll do is just kind of wipe it off. So you got to make sure it's kind of bone dry when you're doing this. We are. So I accidentally pushed it over a touch too much. So now what I'm going to do is just move up. Again, I don't know if we have to be able to read this, so again I'm going to suggest. So I'm looking kind of like where the letter forms line up above it. I am going to try a little bit to freestyle here. But can't imagine that even this is a commission for somebody, so I couldn't even imagine that they would want me, knowing my paintings, to do this perfectly. it's just not my forte and not what I enjoy doing. So in another video I'll kind of show some of my other work too that I've done over the years, and just how when you zoom in on it, it's more about the picture than it is about the beautiful lettering. So down here, I mean, you can't read any of what's going on down there. So and then lastly, I'm just going to go right up, follow up. So the center is probably around where the E is. Top of the label here, up to E. See, I'm not even trying to pick up any characters at this point. Just more of like the essence of it. You know, you can try this out too on a separate, you know, if you're afraid to kind of go at your paintings, you could just try it out on a separate piece of paper. Just do a little test, see if you like it. Walk away for a day, come back and look at it. And then if you feel like it's what you're looking for, then go for it. But again, just giving you a little bit of insight into the way that I think about it when I'm doing it. Touch a little bit of light into there. I think we can bring some light down into here too. Into here. You know, the trick is to just not overwork it, because if you start to overwork it, it may look like you just stopped. And you know, the trick is to just make sure that it looks like it was intentional. So go over this a little bit more. Get a little bit of almost like highlight. There we have it. We have the you know, the blue label, which is kind of like probably what they're looking for too. So they're gonna probably go right to the label and say, "Oh wow, that's blue label." So there you have it. That's the kind of final paint part of the painting. It's usually one of the things I'll save to the end. I want to get the form underneath before I kind of work on the lettering, because if the form isn't right, then I'm gonna have to change it. So this is kind of like the icing on the cake. Think about it. And then sometimes if I feel like there's just too much paint on, what I'll do is just kind of dab it. Just take a little bit of paint off. It'll kind of soften the edge too, so it's not so crisp and hard. Just gotta make sure you get any dust off that was accidentally put on, like this. So be careful when you're doing lettering. You don't want to mess up everything that you just did. Luckily I did not. So just dab it a touch. Dab it a touch. Again, try this out on something else. Make sure that, you know, it's the kind of way that you want it. So those are my tips on doing rendering of labels. So hope you enjoy.